The NCAA Football 4-team all-time programs tournament rolls on. I am Charger Dude 95 with help from Phil Talk Sports with the 24-team single elimination tournament to determine what is the greatest college football school of all time. After this week, we will face the Elite Eight programs for the greatest NCAA team of all time. We begin the Sweet 16 with arguably the greatest game of the year so far, the Cotton Bowl from Arlington, Texas, between number 11 Penn State and number 7 Nebraska. Number 20, Johnny Rodgers, reels in that Cornhusker touchdown to cap off Nebraska's first drive of the game, and it was a thing of beauty. Larry Johnson rips off a 25-yard run. Then on 3rd and goal, the Nittany Lions' first drive is finished off by a Bobby Ingram touchdown catch. But Kerry Collins was on fire for the Nittany Lions in the first half. He finds tight end Ted Kwolek of Penn State, who lead by a touchdown going into the third quarter. 17-10, the Nittany Lions lead, and Tommy Frazier, the Nebraska quarterback who was the runner-up for the 1995 Heisman Trophy, finds Irving Fryar to tie the game. We're now locked up at 20 midway through the fourth quarter. Larry Johnson on 3rd and 11 is stuffed, so Nebraska has the ball back with a chance to win the game. 3rd and 6, Frazier goes deep and he finds Fryar for an 11-yard catch. And now with 2:10 to go for the quarterback of Nebraska, who had been so productive today, he is sacked by Courtney Brown. Then on 3rd and 20, Green goes next to nowhere. Frazier only threw 3 incomplete passes for the game and tossed for over 200 yards. The Penn State, with a chance to win it here in regulation, finds Kerry Collins with yet another incredible drive. This is Andrew Qualis for a 20-yard completion on 3rd down. Penn State, it should be noted, was 7 of 14 on 3rd down. Then Kurt Warner puts them into field goal range, but they decide with 10 seconds to go in the fourth quarter to draw Kurt Warner. It seemed that they lined it up between the hashes for a game-winning field goal from Brett Conway, but no, here is Kerry Collins, who's going for the win. He fires into the end zone from McDuffie, and he reels it in, and Penn State on a walk-off score the touchdown to knock off Nebraska. That was about as gutsy a play call as I have ever seen in college football, and the Penn State Nittany Lions have stunned Nebraska, and they are one of the final 8 teams for the NCAA tournament. What a performance from quarterback Kerry Collins. USC is one of the greatest college football programs of all time, with 7 national championships and 39 conference crowns as of 2019. And who knew they had the sort of offense that competes with the greatest show on turf? Now, Aaron Murray seemed to play touchdown trade-offs against that of Matt Leinart. That time he finds Troy Sadowski, and then deep from 55 late in the first half, Ocean Charles gets into the act and pulls Georgia within 7 going into the second half. But then USC overwhelms the Bulldog defense in the second half. There's tight end Charles Young in the back corner of the end zone, and Keyshawn Johnson, who scores twice here in the Rose Bowl. USC racks up 567 yards from scrimmage and was 11 of 13 on 3rd down. The Bulldog defense, after a great game against Washington, was completely annihilated against number 5 USC. Number 23 Georgia Tech is fresh off a shocking 24-6 victory in the New Orleans Bowl over number 10 Florida State. And they hung in through the first 3 quarters to their credit against the number 1 school in the country in Ohio State. But Winfield picks off this George Godsey pass and takes it back for a Buckeye score. And Ohio State blanks Georgia Tech with an excellent fourth quarter. The 8-time national champion Ohio State Buckeyes advance in the NCAA Tournament Elite Eights. Georgia Tech was a paltry 3 of 12 on 3rd down and had a total of 39 yards passing in their shutout loss. Ohio State battles the winner of the Sun Bowl, which is ironically played in a downpour between number 12 LSU and number 6 Texas. Ricky Williams of the Longhorns runs past LaRon Landry to put Texas in front. We would hear of Landry later in the first half. Charles Alexander, a 2-time consensus All-American and a 1977 SEC Player of the Year, puts together an incredible spin cycle to tie the game. But then with LSU's defense, which should have played prevent, giving up a long catch to Roy Williams, the Longhorns take the lead on a 74-yard Young to Williams touchdown. LaRon Landry, who has already run over once, he runs right past Williams. What are you doing? 14-7 Texas going into the second half. Joe Burrow must have been frustrated seeing that touchdown. He goes deep to Wendell Davis. Burrow continues his phenomenal performance throughout the tournament, completing 16 of 19 throws, and then his fullback, J.C. Copeland, plunges in to tie the game. Vince Young would not go down without a fight, however. The Heisman Trophy winner earlier in this century hands it off to sweeping Earl Campbell, who is stopped. And the Longhorns avoid a 49-yard field goal. They settle for a punt which nets 12 yards to Russell Exelman. No problem with his punt. The problem is, what are you doing not going for a field goal to take the lead? Later in the fourth quarter, with LSU having a chance to take the late lead, Burrow finds a man who just doesn't want to move the chains. He finally does. That's Eddie Kennison. And then the Tigers on the very next play. It's a gain of 22 to Josh Reed to put them into field goal range, and now they look poised to win the game. And on 3rd and 9, with Texas not using any of the timeouts that they have, Billy Cannon runs for 6, and then Josh Jasper, in an attempt to give the Tigers the lead, he does just that in a downpour, and LSU leads by a field goal. Now in the final play of regulation, Young attempts to go for the win, but he is taken down, and this game is over. The Longhorns are one and done in a shocking come-from-behind win for LSU. The Longhorns, over a majority of their program, many pointed to them, especially as late, as not having the greatest coaching. And that was on display in this game today. LSU will play Ohio State for the NCAA Tournament's Elite Eight. Tim Brown, one of the greatest receivers in the history of the NFL and college football. He has the all-time scrimmage yards record for the Fighting Irish, and of course has a decorated career with the Raiders and a plethora of other teams in the NFL. He reels in 2 first-half touchdowns, 57 yards, then this one from 40 yards to beat the man who had a great game, Bradley Fletcher, a week ago for Wisconsin, in their win over Florida. Notre Dame overwhelms Wisconsin as we take a look at the passing yards discrepancy. Over 150 more for the Fighting Irish in the first half. Then here's Montana, who pulls away with his legs. And they would hold Wisconsin out of the end zone as Wilson is denied on a 4th and goal. The Fighting Irish will battle number 11 Penn State for the Russell Athletic Bowl next week. Good luck for the Nittany Lions, who go up against the Notre Dame defense, which holds the Badgers to a total of 5 for 16 on 3rd and 4th downs. What a performance as well from receiver Tim Brown. The Iron Bowl will go down as one of the greatest rivalries in the history of college football, and this one didn't disappoint. It was close throughout. Wilcox makes the stop there, but then Ingram is taken down by Takeo Spikes for an Auburn safety. Spoiler, this would be the only safety recorded in all of the rounds of the NCAA tournaments. Alabama and Auburn both struggle in the first half on offense to the tune of a Tiger lead, 8-3. In the fourth corner, Joe Namath finds one of the most underrated receivers in the history of football in Don Hudson. He reels it in here. That leads to a go-ahead touchdown run from Heisman Trophy winner Derrick Henry. Auburn down by a point now and have been scoreless for over a quarter and a half. They lead the drive. There is Newton on the toss, and then Brent Fullwood, who takes over for the injured Cadillac Williams as the backup running back. He gains 7 in his place. Then here is the screen to Fullwood, but they are denied on 3rd down. The Alabama defense puts together an incredible second half, and on 4th and 7, the Tigers, in an effort to take the lead, are denied yet again. The aforementioned Don Hudson, he led the NFL in receiving touchdowns for 9 consecutive years in the 50s and 60s. I mean, just an incredible accomplishment for one of the greatest wideouts in the history of Packers football, too. Cooper gains 9. Then the aforementioned Don Hudson, from 34 yards away, secures an Alabama lead of 16-8. with just under a minute to go in the game. 4th and 5, Newton in an effort to tie it. He finds Frank Sanders, which makes things a bit interesting here in the Iron Bowl. Then with 17 seconds to go in the fourth quarter, he overthrows Jim Phillips, which would have all but tied the game at 16 with a 2-point conversion. Then on 3rd and 10, this is Bo Jackson, and he is denied on what is the final play of the Auburn season. The Tigers knocked out number 16 Clemson last week in the Belk Bowl, but in the Iron Bowl, they are no match for Alabama. And a Crimson Tide victory, 16-8. Derrick Henry and Mark Ingram, both of which are Heisman Trophy winners. They account for a total of 1.5 yards a carry in this slugfest won by the Tide. At the Alamo Bowl in San Antonio, number 14 Tennessee battles number 4 Oklahoma. Very few people know just how good the Sooners program is. This is Malcolm Kelly to put them inside the 10. The number 85 Ryan Broyles into the end zone. Oklahoma leads 13-6 at the half. They have 7 national championships through the Sooners and an NCAA record, 48 conference crowns. Part of why they hide under the limelight is that they haven't really been of the national conversation consistently since their national title in 2000. Manning finds his man Carl Pickens on 3 straight catches. That one ties the game at 13. He was a former defensive back turned wide receiver. Now this is a full-time defensive back, Derek Strait of Oklahoma, who set a school record for return yards in a year, so he does it here from 25 yards out. That's a straight touchdown, and Oklahoma leads midway through the fourth quarter by 7. Mayfield, part of a run game that was brutal tonight. He is taken down by Eric Berry, so Tennessee gets the ball back with a chance to tie the game. Manning on 3rd down finds Willie Gault for 11. Then on 4th and 4, a gutsy pass over the middle to Kent keeps this volunteer drive alive. Then with 41 seconds to go in the fourth quarter, Manning ties the game with a 7-yard touchdown to Marcus Nash. But did he leave too much time? That is 36 of 55 completions for Peyton Manning. 3rd and 6 with 17 seconds to go. Mayfield goes deep and finds Mark Clayton of the Sooners with 11 seconds for a gain of 43. Beautiful pass from Baker Mayfield, who has the sort of firepower at quarterback that very few schools can compete with. Michael Honeycutt to stun the Volunteers. That kick is good, and Oklahoma dispatches Tennessee 23-20. Derek Strait, one of the more accomplished cornerbacks in college football history, struggled in the NFL, but he makes the game-altering play for the Sooners. Mayfield was 25 of 37 for 249 yards and a touchdown in the Oklahoma win, 24-21. This is the final game of the NCAA Tournament Elite 8, and from the Hawaii Bowl in Honolulu, Michigan's first 2 drives are a disaster. After a 3-and-out, the big fella, Warren Sapp, scoops up a fumble, and he runs stride for stride with the Michigan secondary for a Hurricane touchdown. Miami may just pull away with a resounding 3-score lead here in the first quarter. 4th and inches, Otis Anderson converts for the Hurricanes, but then Kozar, 2 plays later, is intercepted by Charles Woodson of Michigan. And that flips the field, and Michigan completely, in the second quarter, takes advantage of some Miami miscues to pull to within 6. But Kozar comes back with this touchdown pass to tight end Willie Smith, who we will hear of quite a bit in this game today from Honolulu. 20-7 at this point, and 20-10 in favor of the Hurricanes at the half. Willie Smith was a 1985 All-American, but only played less than 2 years in the National Football League. He gains 23 there. Over 100 yards for Willie Smith in this one against Michigan. And Willis McGahee caps it off with this Miami touchdown. The Wolverines, fresh off of their come-from-behind win against Oregon last week in the Holiday Bowl, on 4th and 5, down by 13. They are denied with Maurice Crumb's pass deflection, and the Hurricanes will move on to battle number 3 Alabama in the Capital One Bowl next week. In fact, all of the matchups are set as the Sweet 16 is complete. Ohio State takes on LSU. Notre Dame clashes with Penn State, and Oklahoma will tangle USC in the Buffalo Wild Wings Bowl. What a game for Ray Lewis. It is the Hurricanes who dispatched Michigan 30-17. We will see you next week. This is Charger Dude 95.